we're moving from our Canadian cousins to France, staying on the internet. You won't be surprised if I tell you that, as in most other industrialized countries, the rate of growth of digital spending on social networks is very high. I have a figure of 55% growth between 2014 and 2015 in France. And that begs the question of how can advertisers operate and under what rules? Rather than a comprehensive description that time frame doesn't allow, I'll take a few examples to show you what's going on in France. We have, just briefly before I do that, we have in France a few rules. For example, a 2004 law that implements the 2000 EU directive on the electronic commerce that requires any ad, whatever its form, that is accessible through an online communication service open to the public must be identified as such. And we'll come back on these notions. We have coming more specific rules with a draft law that should be adopted before the end of the year that has an ambitious name, Law for a Digital Republic, but that addresses not political issues but very practical ones. And we have, of course, the French self-regulatory body, the ARPP, that is quite active on the front, has a recommendation on the subject as well that was refreshed, updated in October 2015. Now, the question is, and I'm sorry, I did not. Okay. Okay, we're good. Now, the question is, what's an ad? And is this an ad? Is that an ad? And the question comes up often in these new technologies used nowadays. I picked two examples that have raised interest in France, not just because they both involved alcoholic beverages, and not because one shows the beautiful Scarlett Johansson, but because one discusses how public the ad must be to be an ad, and the other one discusses whether an ad has to be paid for to be an ad. The first case was decided all the way up to the French Supreme Court concerning an ad run by Pernod Ricard that I suppose most of you know. It's a large French outfit producing alcoholic beverages. And the campaign was run in the press, on billboards, and on the internet, among other ways, through Facebook. It was, and that's a side issue here, I'll skip the details, but it was decided by the Supreme Court that the ad was not conforming with the French rules on alcoholic beverages ads. But the issue was really, that interests us today, is really that the ad included the offer for an application to be downloaded for free and allowing the user to download codes leading to cocktail recipes using the alcoholic beverage Pernod Ricard, and that the user was to publish on his Facebook wall. And the Supreme Court considered that even though the user was sharing the message with his Facebook friends only, it was still an ad and considered as public. So that raised a lot of criticism, of course. Some people said that they didn't start binge drinking. They started binge drinking way before Facebook was invented, but it's still something that has to be taken into account. So this is the visuals that were used for the campaign. And the next one is a series of articles published by the weekly French magazine Paris Match on an advertising campaign run by Moët & Chandon with Scarlett Johansson. And they were published also on third parties' websites and in a different version on the website of the company of Moët & Chandon. And the courts decided that concerning the publication, Paris Match, the articles were advertising for the champagne Moët & Chandon, and they clearly held that French law does not require an ad to be paid for to be an ad. So Moët & Chandon got away with it because there was no evidence that they had required or solicited the publication of the articles, but the magazine was fined and had to pay damages to the association of fight against alcoholism that sues everybody and his brother in France as soon as there is an ad with alcohol. Not huge. I think the damages were 30,000 and the fine was 15, so nothing to die for, but 10,000, yeah, per violation. Not per copy of the magazine, of course, but so now we can move to the next question that comes up with the use of social networks, which is who is the advertiser, and is it an ad? And the requirements are clear. The recommendation of the French self-regulatory body is crystal clear, and it's in fact a confirmation of the 2004 law that there are two situations. Either the fact that it's a commercial message is obvious, then it's fine. Doesn't need a confirmation, a formal confirmation. The commercial nature is not obvious, and then there has to be some form of an information given to the public that it is an ad. And the recommendation of the French regulatory body goes as far as suggesting wordings which all of you know, like advertising sponsored by, in partnership or collaboration with. And they also suggest solutions adapted to different techniques of used in social medias. The next question that comes up, and that's also addressed by that recommendation of the self-regulatory body, is, and they have a specific definition of what's native advertising. It's probably not very different from what you have in your countries. They define that the native advertising covers various advertising formats which use or look as similar as possible to the design and the form of the website on which they are inserted or published, and adapt themselves to the experience of the user. And that's where they suggest the use of these wordings like sponsored by or advertising, etc. And I think I have an example of that. And then there is, and I don't know if I have time left, but I'll be quick. There is the draft law I was talking about for a digital republic. It is extremely comprehensive, so I'm not going to go into any details about it. But there's one item that I find interesting. It is addressing the issue of the monitoring of the consumers' comments posted online, because there are, you all probably have heard of or seen the excesses that have come up, even companies now that are offering services to other businesses to basically, in some instances, have fraudulent comments posted for a fee. And of course, the service providers, the restaurants, hotels, and other businesses are up in arms against that. And the draft law is considering, if it's adopted as in the draft now, imposing some requirements on transparency, on why some comments are rejected, and imposing a system for the service providers to answer the comments that are negative and that are, in their view, false or unduly negative. And I think I'll stop here. Thank you.